Hello, everybody. Today, it's nice to see so much young persons in this room. As you know, the persons who are working in this field almost 27. This year it is 28 already. Sorry. Okay. It's a little bit update. I responsible in Schneider Electric for business development across the Baltic countries. And as you know, I'm yesterday just returned back from Estonia, where I have something similar, but mainly for installers, because one of my topic, what I like it so much, it's installation quality and increase our installation quality and installation base. That is one of the important things. Can you switch the presentation?
Yes, please turn on the presentation. Yes, it's there.
Yeah, it can be great to see. And I work as product manager across the Baltic countries, as I mentioned. But today we will talk about total new things and very interesting things which will change all our lives. Sorry, guys, but we need to change our habits. We need to adapt to our new reality because by latest information, car producers stopped produce any diesel or gasoline type of cars. 2035, it stopped produce any cars in Europe with such engines. Silence, eh? Shock. We think this future it is quite far because we're not seeing it so much those electrical cars today. But and what is more challenging, I think, for Baltics and even for countries where we are live, it's infrastructure. Unfortunately, at the moment when you're talking with some guys from energy utility companies, you will see we even don't have enough power for your homes. You even don't have so much power for any building or place where you are live. What will happen with areas what we mentioned, like those sleeping areas, where all those cars are located? How we can charge them? How we get energy from the place? What we know, for example, gasoline stations in the past. Now we move to those areas where we are live. Because when you look in this slide, you are see one very interesting specific. People think when you are using the cars, you go to the gasoline station, you will charge, and you will go to home, and you know you will drive with this fuel what you have, almost close to 800, 900, independent of the car, of course, kilometers. But when we look on the electrical car, we start to see 300 kilometers in very good condition. What means very good condition? Like in Italy, where it is warm, nice, you will open the windows, it's hot, it's good, but unfortunately you see the temperature this morning. It's -10. The battery is frozen. The battery would like to be heat up at least to 30 degrees to give the power out. But to get the power out, you need to heat up them. That means you spend already some energy just to heat up the battery. And to be ready to drive, your battery at the moment shows 300 kilometers. You drive from Vilnius and then you stop somewhere in Panevėžys. And then you say, okay, how I reach your event today? Sorry, guys, unfortunately it is too cold outside. I not reach it. Yeah. That is things what we need to think in the future, how we can act with those car charging procedures, how we act with the cars. And what is more important, we need to understand the car producers start to think about that. And we need to think about what cars we can use it. Because when we use it cars just to drive Vilnius-Riga, it's other cars. It's cars who can reach it, which has more than 500 kilometers, and then you can use that for such purpose. Okay, you will drive there, you will connect to the charger, and then you charge, and then you can reach the home. Another one thing it is when you are leaving the city, and you just drive approximately 100 kilometers in a day. That is average when we look in those people which live in city. It's usually even less. It's some 50 or even less. For those purposes, yes, you will stay your cars at home. You will drive till certain place where you can charge it. Like in office, during the day, the car will charge, and then they go home. And those, for understanding how much electricity you need for this charging process, it is very simple. This, I prefer and I recommend to use this logic when it is 20 kilowatts per 100 kilometers. And then you imagine, so much people will come to this office, each come with his car, and they would like to get energy from this area. The good sign it is we've seen already is a solar plant close to this area, because during the day we will get additional energy. That will help. But when there is no solar area, office would like to work, lighting would like to work, cameras need to work, all of them need energy. And that happens in one time, immediately, right now, when you are coming. What will happen with the network? What will happen with main incomer? They just strip it because it is not so much energy available. You can use only available energy. And that is very important to understand from a global point of view. And that is why Schneider think about this solution as one common solution, not only the charger stations. Because people today looks only, oh, how I get cheaper charger station inside. But that is only very small part of this problem which comes around us. It is similar at your home. You will have a car, you would like to charge at your home. That is usual because that is a normal way where you can charging the cars, because cars stay much more longer time there. And the question is how much power you have at your home. You live in multi-flat house that it's even not possible to charge. I saw already my colleagues sent some pictures in Vilnius when someone's put wire through the room, and there it is wires go through the street and to his car with those reels and so on. And so I thought, okay, good charging process. And then you imagine how much you can charge by standard socket outlet. How much electricity you will get out. You will charge your car for those like 300 kilometers till Riga. You will get 60 kilowatts out of this small socket and so on and so on. And that is the reason why Schneider Electric think about different charging approach to different areas. And one of the places what we are talking, as you mentioned already, as I mentioned, it's those homes. And the question it is what we can do at the homes, how we can simplify, and how we will get reliable and safe power or charging process. Because why I'm talking about safety? Safety it is a key word in this thinking, because standards. I like to make samples. As you know, when people invent the first cars, what happens? Before there it is horses which are driving the streets. There it is no rules how you drive in the street and so on. But when cars are coming, they understand something dangerous will happen, because those goes much faster. They start to hit people in the cities. And the first rule, maybe you will see some pictures when it is someone's need go in the front and say the car is coming, the car is coming. And everybody go away, yes, and then the car is pass it. You know, invent cars, and then the rules how it can be done will coming. It's similar with electrical charging process. At the moment, happens a lot of new companies, new different solutions you will find around the market. Who will of them think about safety? Because no accidents. Nobody can burn. Not house are burned, and so on and so on. Nobody think about that before accident will come. But we understand that when those cars can come more and more, the accident will come. Because you need to understand, there it is a car. For example, our nice summer, what we like it, a lot of rain, you will come the cable, and there it is, imagine, car. In board of the car, it is 600 volts battery. and you are try to collect it, and there it is 80 amps coming out from that, and you are connecting in the wet environment those power plugs, all those cables, and you are connecting that to the charging station, which maybe it's 100 or even more amperes from other side. How safe it is? There it is all protections installed on site, or there it is just nice charging station? How safe you can feel with that environment? That is about this part. Similarly, it is at homes. We need to understand, we think only about part of charging stations, but we always forget the part which are in your enclosures. You need to upgrade and change some mindset in your enclosures. You need to put some basic things which are necessary. For example, that is one MCB, this miniature circuit breaker, which are protect line till the charging station properly. Other one part, it is RCD type, A at least, from this side, because DC part, because we need to understand there it is power. And power, there it is two different. There it is DC and AC. And you need protection for both of them. You take it in account, both protection types in this protection process, because when we talk about cars, on the board of the car, there it is inverter, which are work on DC power. And there it is, for example, this device can protect you for AC power leakage, but DC power leakage, they're not protected, because over this device, DC power goes more than 60 milliamps. And when we look in physical or like schools, we remember that 60 milliamps just kills the people. And that means it's not protected. And that is the reason why there it is two different types. There it is 6 milliamps part which are protected that. What is peak controller? For which purpose that is needed? That is device which are protect your home for those spikes. Because you drive with a car at home, you will plug for charging process, but in same time you will go home and start to cooking, making some tools, okay, washing machine can work, and all the equipment at your home work. And there it is question how very often customers come to us ask, okay, I need charging station for my home. How much power you have at your home? 16 amps, 3-phase. Only for this charger you need 16 amps. How you can act, how you can get the power. And that is this management process, what I mentioned already. Peak controller allows. They talk with your car and they say, sorry guys, today in this house, there it is happens big cleaning process because it is impossible to charge the car. Little bit wait. And they already automatically say that to car is going down. They stop the charging process. They wait when you are stopped your evening cleanings and etc. things. And then it is going on charging process. Maybe that is 11 at the evening, maybe that is at 12. And we know during this period even it is better because market price is going down and you can charge very cheaply during the night. And that is those peak controllers which can be used. What is a mix in this area? That is one additional standard that we called like ZO ready. It's some French producers are required that because we're using a lot of electrical equipment in the chain of connections, and we're using a lot of parts of protections. And this is one of the protection which are protect for sticking contactor. Because in each charging station there it is contactor which are start charging process, like make booms and start it. And you at the morning would like to drive away, and you can get it out plug from the car. Because the contactor is stacking, they not stop it charging process. And this small device, it is connected to MCB or RCD, and they stop the charging process because when that problem will happen. Because you know, you never know what electricity do during those chains, and that is the one of the interesting things which are protecting for this accident, we will say like that. Charging stations, that is offer what at the moment we can offer for homes, and then you say, oh, why we are, I know in Estonia guys like it very much, very powerful chargers on the part what can be put in those sites, but unfortunately we need to remember, first of all, at homes you have limited amount of power available, that is one thing. Other one thing, it is there, cars stay much more time there, and other limited point is the question how much will car take the electricity. Because people think when I put bigger charger, I can get more power from that. And quicker can charge the car. But car producers understand and think differently because chargers on cars are different. And you need to look on the technical specification and then you understand, for example, Nissan Leaf charging only in one phase, 7.5 kilowatts. They're not getting more. You can put 22 kilowatt chargers, but they only charging 7 kilowatts, and that's it. When we look Audi RS latest model, what we see, the maximum what they can charge at the moment, it is 11 kilowatts. And as you see there, it is 11 kilowatt charger at your home. Of course, they have a battery 60 kilowatt during the 4 hours, it's done. And there is this question why you need bigger one. And other one point, it is which are limited charging process. It's temperature. Very often you will see what happens. It's a lot of people are blaming, oh, there it is very big charger. I will come to the DC charger, 150 kilowatts I can connect it. And they starting very quickly and they dramatically go down. Because it is independent of the temperature. What happens with the car battery, what happens with all those stuff. And that is a specific which we need to take into account. And people think, oh, I can use only those quick chargers. You can't use everyday quick chargers because they kill batteries. The batteries don't like it, those quick charging processes, because it's simply because in the car there it is no like one, as we know, we're opening the car and we see accumulator, for example, or battery, what is in the car. And we think that it is only a little bit bigger, but just connected. No, there is a lot of small batteries. And what is more important for car? To have stability between those cells. And the quick charging process not make it that stability. They just quickly put some energy in. How it is distributed, it is independent of those PLCs on board, how they can do it, but till 80% they can do that quite quickly, and then they stopped. We will see the similar things will happen with your phone. That is one example, what you see in daily life. When you're charging your phone, you will see the charging process will come very quickly till 80%, and then they start to slow down, and to get this 100, you will see that it is even 1 hour you are waiting, and it's not reached 100, and why? And that is the way how the charging processes happen. Yeah, and what we did, as I mentioned already, we produced specific Evelyn home simple charging stations with peak controllers. And the biggest advantage for our side, it is when we look, yes, it is connection schematics, very dramatic and very, but that is part which electricians see in it. And what is important for this picture? Most important part from this picture, the communication with the car and charging station will happen through those cables to which they are connected. That means you not need any additional connection between charging station and car or charging station on enclosure with a peak controller who are talking about with the car. Only addition what is necessary when it is required this ZOE ready standard, yes, that is these 2 wires which are required for this MX contacts and allows you protect for this contact sticking. Of course, this information it is available from our websites, and it can be in local languages, all those instruction sheets and other things and so on and so on. That is for homes. When we go forward and we will talking about Evelyn Pro IC range, what you are seeing there, the stations, that is our edition number 3. We will talk about edition number 3. That is the latest charging station at the moment in our portfolio, which are going very widely across all the Baltic states. Not only Baltic states, even Europe. And one interesting thing it is we start opening a production line even in Riga. In Riga, Schneider factory start producing charging stations for full Europe. And very soon you will see it that. And yeah, a little bit what we're talking about those charging stations. What is important is, yes, it is applications about which one we are talking. One, it is when we look, for example, multifamily houses. Of course, we know it's very hard to talking about those multifamily houses which are built already. But the hardest solution can be how we can get those parking yards and those areas with electricity available. That can be one of the biggest challenge. Second one, it is when we're talking about work. As I mentioned, from home to work, from work to home, we always travel between those 2 points. Yeah, the second one, it is when we're talking about shopping malls. Shopping malls, all areas where we stay more with a car, we can use for charging process. At the moment, there it is even in Latvia, this regulation which are required for new buildings which have already parking yard. For each 10 places, one can be equipped with charging point, second with electricity additional part. That is already rules which are required for any charging stations. Okay, a little bit forward. Yeah, what we can offer today from which models and how that looks like. Yeah, the charging stations we have, it's from 7 to 22 kilowatts, mode 2, mode 3 charging process. More important things, it is compliant with all existing standards which are available today and even ready for some new addition standards and requirements which will come over us. That is what can I say? What is more important, what is different in our charging stations compared to the other ones? As you know, Schneider Electric works as an energy management company. And one of the part, what we changed totally, it's we are put the place for some protection devices which are moved for your enclosures to the charging stations. And that allows to save the spaces in areas where you need to make all the protections. Because as you know, minimum protection, what is needed for charging station, it is MCB and RCD. That is minimum, which we talk today. And as you see, when we are put, for example, RCD already on board, we automatically reducing the space already in the enclosures. That is one point. Second one, that it is possible to put even mid-meters. Because for those operators which would like to sell electricity, what is important to have already very reliable data, countable, and of course trustable. Because customers pay for electricity, they told, okay, you are charging 22 kilowatts, why you are asked from me more money than what I do, because I see in the car one thing, and so on and so on. But that is very important, that you can get it through those stations. Other one point is very important. We have a different type of models. It's very flexible solution. It is even stations with a cable, stations without cable, stations with a domestic socket. You will say, why it's needed for station domestic sockets? Because what we can do with those electrical bikes, bicycles, all those stuff, they don't have such big plugs. They have a just standard socket outlet. But you drive in the city and your bicycle is die. And what you can do it right now? You can go to charge in such charging point where it is necessary. Then another one, it is a way how we can handle. it is poles, cheaper solution for example, for some closed areas, or a more safe solution, metallic corpus, which are protected you for different nice guys who would like to steal something. Because what is interesting, I'm really surprised in Sweden, quick chargers, part of them, one Monday they discovered it is cutted those cables for those copper stealers. They just come and cut the cables which are connected to them. And that is quick chargers, we understand, for 100 kilos. They have a very big copper cables on board, but one morning they discovered that someone's already take away. Yeah, but what is more important, it's connectivity. It's connectivity because we have a different type of operators. Which think about, for you, it is very important. You are driving the road and you come to this building and you come from Lithuania. For you, it is crucial to reserve already this charging station. And you will do that through the app and say, I will come there and I will charge. And it's already reserved for you and nobody else can connect it to them. And then you know that, because you imagine, that is the same what I told, the 300 kilometers, you need to come back to home. Otherwise, when you're not charged there, you not come, you stop it. You can wait when other one charge, or then can come someone free. For you, it's crucial to have a free space in this area where you go. And that is the reason why this connectivity is very important. Yeah, and there it is some ISO 50108 ready. There it is, what kind of standard that means. That is one very interesting standard, which are talking about our future when you are already can have some kind of marriage with your car. And what I mean marriage, because you start to share all your credentials like credit cards with your car. Because normally we know, in marriage we always share everything. Wife knows your credit card numbers and credit card amounts and everything, and they share it, everything. And then you merge together with a car. It is the same, some kind of marriage, I will say. And then you come with a car, for example, for charging point. You will connect just to the charging point, and charging point automatically, operator see that is you with your credit card. You have an amount on board, and they start charging process without any additional apps and any additional things. That is how to say smart cities, what we heard today a lot. One other important thing. We made stations friendly for our main customers, which we called electricians, because they did the daily job. And what is critical for them, it is how to start up and how to make the life easier. They do that with a phone, without any registration, through the Bluetooth. And they make all this commissioning through the Bluetooth, all the setup, all the startup process, all the problems when it is arrived. Electrician comes, they send to his phone all this log file, and they can check it what happens in the site. That is for electricians, of course. And of course, I can't not say anything about sustainability, because Schneider Electric, sustainable company, is talking all the time about possibilities to see. For example, you can look in our website and you will see footprint for each station in our Earth. How much we will make footprint for this station in our Earth. Of course, what is important is understand the life cycle. We made the station to work for a long time, not just for 10 years, because new technology will come and then we change everything and blah, blah, blah. But station, it is made to work much more longer, because that is sustainability, reliability and safety for all our customers and so on. And what is more important, it's in offer. As I mentioned, it's critically to have a power management. In those cases, especially when there it is building like this one, it is important for you to have a product power management. In those cases, there it is we called like EV charging expert, what is a program which helps you to handle all those charging processes in line with available energy in your house or office or building. And that is critical. And what we see already by different our solutions and way how we go, it allows to our customers not to increase connection, but use maximum available power which you have in home or house or building to charge your cars. That is definitely all from my side. Yes, there is some other points, but from time, I think
That's perfect from your side. So maybe there are questions from the audience, if someone. And we have one question in the online. Can Schneider integrate EV charging stations to lighting poles?
We can. The question it is a little bit more from side. Those operators which are operating lighting poles can give available energy in those sites. Because as I told already, what is the problem with the lighting poles? They work permanent time. You are always powering and switching off somewhere centrally. When there is power all the time, that means that it is separate cable, separate protections, because protections can be a little bit different compare those stations or charging process, because it is the problem. It is the human are touching those stuff, and then you need other protection devices on board. Then you need properly to think from where you get this power to these lighting poles.
It is the same as you think that there are norms how you should unplug your plug from the socket, that you are holding the socket and do it. And if you are just pulling the wire, then...
It's not a problem with our charging stations. There it is more problem with this
the pole.
Yeah, because the pole, it is mainly designed to stay themselves. Okay, they maybe think about more how the drunk driver can kill the pole. They have other options, what is necessary. But we have something similar when we're talking about those posts. What we have, we understand the car sometimes can be drive to that. And that is why reason they are quite reliable and stable. Yeah, maybe the car can be damaged, but not pole.
And also then it's a question about amps available.
Yes,
because if
that is a more question, because you are understand for one station you need at least already 4 and more square meters cable to arrive to one charging station, and that is solution how we can get more those amps to these certain poles, because the cable can be laid, because we have already with station installation already big issues, because when we're talking about big office, imagine one station it is 22 kilowatts. That is 40 amps for one station. How much cables you need to put it to reach those stations when, for example, there it is parking yard and you have, for example, 20 or 40 charging stations. 40 charging stations, it is almost 1,200 amps. Good morning. We need such power to supply those stations.
Some
small substations. Then you start to think, okay, how I get the power to those for each cable. When you start to calculate, because the biggest investment in those cases, it is in site of connection and switchboard on sites, not charging stations themselves. There it is more already this back work, which comes especially from prescription and this area. And we recommend for some areas to use bus bars, because we see this installation, for example, save even 30-40% from your installation cost totally, and simplification from side of installation and less problems.
Yeah, so about this distribution, so you must think what is reasonable and how to make the connections and wires to the charging point.
Exactly.
And then maybe it's cheaper to drive your car few hundred meters to the charging point than to get the charging point next to your home.
I don't think that is the best solution, but I think the people, anyway, it is so lazy animal in the world, I would say, because all those technologies are developed due to our laziness, because even remote control, it comes just lazy to comes to the PC, and even for TV we know that is a laziness which are developed such things in our home. And car it is again because we are lazy to walk and we would like to drive.
Or not to pedals
not
with
to
the bicycle.
put the pedals, then we put the engine, then they move you and so on.
So, any more questions from the audience? From someone? No? No one here? Well, there is one question. Maybe you know the answer for that. This is an online question. Will Latvia build a nuclear power plant?
Oh,
But I'm
Yeah,
not
that is
sure
a-
that this is according to, but maybe you know.
I will come to this question from other side.
Okay.
I talk with the guys in Estonia, and at the moment it is happens one other problem. When we touch the nuclear plants, that is a totally different story. But we have already the problem. People put a lot of solar panels on the different areas, and the problem it is this peak will come in the middle of the day when there is sunshine and nice days. And the question is how we utilize this part of energy,
How we use it.
where we can put it, because in Estonia they told, okay, those big producers or solar plants, they think how to utilize this energy. At the moment, yeah, we told, there it is not so much factories which are use electricity, because people are in the offices not use so much electricity. I told the life will change, we will start to charge our cars. And that they required, as you heard, it will come just initially in the world, and we start using more and more those electricity for such purpose. And of course, it can be in our world like available electricity quite a lot. Then cars coming, there it is, missing electricity, how we can get more? And this balance can be always very hard to find, because we understand investments are not following the same usage or habits our.
There are differences in
Yeah,
that, for
and
sure.
then you imagine a nuclear power, it is the biggest issue. It's they producing big amount and they not can jumping up and down very dramatically.
Yeah, because
and you
you
need
can
to
only-
utilize this electricity all the time, and there it is question how you can do it.
It's quite expensive to start the process and
Yes,
so on.
you start the process, but then it is a problem. You need to use permanently big amount of power all the time.
But maybe nuclear fusion will solve some of that. But of course, it's still
Yeah.
some time until it's ready. Okay, so big round of applause for Gatis. Thank you for his
Thank you.
presentation.